All right, this is Ara. You're listening to the Living Mandala podcast. Good. And our series continues with the Chakras of the House series. I am here joined with Dr. Bill Barnard, and we're going to talk about the Sacral Chakra today. That's going to be the chakra du jour, and we're going to link it back to the house and then, back and forth, and we're going to just, figure out this part of our lives. So thank you for being here and tell us all about the Sacral Chakra.
Yeah, okay. So with this one, it's typically located, there's like a zone of influence, right? But I guess the center of that zone of influence would be, right around your genitalia, in the pelvis area, And so, again, depending upon the people you work with, because you can sense the energy. You can actually feel it if you begin to tune into it. I mean, it's not like feeling an apple or feeling cloth or something, but there's like a visceral sensation of the energy of the different chakras that is, each one feels sort of specific. And you can develop that capacity to sense it. So I think it's more like you can sense that sort of, it's like, so it depends especially if you start working a healing capacity with different people, you can, the different chakras, they'll each person will also feel different, So sometimes it can be almost like a buzzing or a swirling or a whirling or a prickliness or a heat or a sense of stagnation. There's a whole, again, different, almost like tangible aspect to each of these chakras, right? And so this one you can typically feel around it, oftentimes, like we used to in the energy schools, again, you could feel front and back, so that in the sacral sort of area. And then, so almost like in some of the indigenous traditions, they talk about, like in the Quechua tradition, my wife and I, we studied just a little about it. I not what I call study it really, but somewhat familiarized with it. And they would talk about these belts of energy. And so they would talk about a belt of energy that was basically surrounds your pelvis. And I like that image too, And so on one hand, it's like a stream of vortices in and out, front and back, but right around the pelvic area. But, on the other hand, you think of like a ring of energy that surrounds the pelvis, which I think is lovely. But anyway, this is in Sanskrit is called a svadhisthana, which means sva, it means of one's own. So it's like where we're established is what it literally means in the Sanskrit, svadhisthana. And the color that's associated with it is typically orange, though it's linked to water as an element, which is I've always found fascinating,
flow,
intriguing. Yeah. So it's definitely flowing, and the sound, the vibration, what they call the seed mantra of it is vum, and so it's to me the svadhisthana, again, sort of like what we're talking about with Wuladhara. A lot of these traditions where they would speak about the more classic yogic traditions, which I want to back up a bit about this. The chakras really emerged from Tantra, but as the sort of the classic yogic tradition sort of merged with Tantra, the classic yogic tradition took up some of the vocabulary of the chakras, but it's a much more aesthetic tradition. So it's a tradition designed to sort of try to sort of go up and out. It's like a vertical ascent. And so for them, the chakras were about getting from the Muladhara, the base, all to get up to Shiva, to become the oneness with God. And so they want to sort of like leave the lower chakras behind, right? And so hence there was a type of denigration of some of the energies.
That's where all the juice and the power are.
Well, exactly. And the joy and the pleasure and the freedom, all of that's there, right? But for them, it was more like that's linked with sex, and they were celibates,
Right.
right? And so that was a place of temptation for them. It was a place of, for them, it's a place of lust. Right?
Well, and leaky energy.
Well, and of course, sexuality is
It can be very leaky.
very, very difficult and charged and difficult for anyone and everyone, right? But just getting a drink of water, and which is very, very appropriate for this one, right? And so, and at its best, this is the qualities of what does it mean to flow, to be fluid in one's life, right? I mean, so it's that sense of the sense of being fluid and flowing, and it means so like open and relaxed, and it means a sense of being not stuck and rigid and tight. So there's a sense of with this chakra of like flowing with life, right? So there's a sense of like almost like riding the wave of life. There's a sense of things also. It's linked to life. It's linked to blood. It's linked to giving life and giving birth. It's linked to sexuality. It's linked to pleasure. It's linked to freedom, right? And so all these are incredibly beautiful qualities to nurture within us. And it's the alignments we have. And it's like this it's our sense of the joy of life and what it feels like to be alive, to be free and alive and flowing and growing. So it has a sense of almost also this link to all the qualities we have with like a fountain bubbling up, right? Or spring, and that which springs alive and has a sense of anything that's also liquid, of course, blood, but also semen and breast milk and menstrual blood and so all urine, all tears, right? All of the things that also there's just the fluids within our body, and it's that sense that we are. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's, I have no idea the percentages, but we're mostly watery beings, right? And we're like sea creatures that we come out of that. The water of the womb, right? And this sort of salty water. Salt would be more earth, but it's mostly right water. And that sort of and what is it? Amniotic fluid and spinal fluid, and so that sense of connection, right? And all the symbolism of water is that which you dive into for like baptism, for cleansing, and for rebirth, right? So there's all that as well. So all of this is linked to the Svadhisthana chakra. And it's a beautiful, beautiful collection of energies that I think we need to re-own and see how deeply spiritual all of these qualities are. These are divine qualities, right? They're not something that we have to work with these energies, with consciousness, like all the energies that we're going to invite into our life, right? And so it's a sense of like how, and we could also, and maybe now would be a time to start talking a little bit about it, but these chakras can work in concert with each other. So it's really beautiful to link the energies of this with the heart, for instance.
Yeah.
To just like have that sense of the conversation between really deep love and sexual joy and pleasure and freedom and aliveness and that energy of giving life but to have it be linked in with the heart and with love and with compassion and tenderness and all those sorts of how beautiful you can sort of see the interaction of those energies can be in the chakras too. So they're not like cut off from each other. I think that's really important.
Such a good segue because, it's not like these are separate areas of your house either necessarily, right? Your house is one big flowing environment. And so, in thinking about, taking the sacral chakra and applying it to different locations in the house, these are the areas that I would suggest to take a look at, and maybe you've got others. Start with the bathrooms. Talk about fluids. Let's look at the bathrooms. What's going on in the bathrooms? Just a pro tip: it's really good to keep your toilet lid down in your bathroom. If your toilet lid is up, this is a little mom moment here. So everybody forgive me. But if you leave the lid open, two things happen. We flush the toilet and particles fly up into the air. It's literally unhygienic. And if you've got an open, toothbrush or something in your bathroom and you're flushing the toilet, just imagine fine particulate water, droplets, making their way up into the air and in your space. So that's one kind of just gross thing that's going on. Another thing that's happening is that when you don't have your lid down, there's a, physics phenomenon that happens. There's an enormous amount of pressure that happens when, that volume of water gets sucked out of your house. And so that's also in turn sucking life force energy out of your house. And so you can help minimize that. I mean, toilets, really, we should all be using outhouses. We should definitely not have toilets in our homes, but unfortunately we do. Well, never mind. It's wonderful that we have toilets in our house. Actually, I take that back. But you mitigate some of that if you keep your lid down. So anyway, I'm linking the sacral chakra to the bathrooms. Of course, and by default, the plumbing. If you've got a plumbing issue going on in your home that you need to get looked out, do you need to call a plumber? Is there some pipe you need to get replaced? During this 2-week window, this is a good time to take a look at any leaks that might be going on in your faucets, your toilets, your tubs, your showers. Is there anywhere that's leaking water? Why don't you go ahead and get that taken care of and stop that leak? I've also included here bedrooms, for all of the obvious reasons. And also, just as a part of like having a really good, healthy life is paying attention to your bedroom and sleeping well. That's also part of life's flow, is sleeping well, it's sleeping deeply. And so, is your bedroom conducive to sleep? It's not good to have a television in your bedroom. It's really not. Really the two things that should be going on in your bedroom are sleeping and sex. That's what we do in our bedrooms. We don't watch TV, we don't office, we don't ride the exercise bike, so I'm just saying, like, these are things you can do to optimize your bedroom for a really good night's sleep. And of course, taking a look at your bathrooms. The other room that I put that I'm associating with the sacral chakra is if there's an art studio in the house. Is there a place where there's a lot of art projects going on and creative energy happening? Maybe this is the kids' play area. That's the other thing that I could link to the sacral chakra. Mm-hmm. We're just like kids are running wild and having fun with their toys. That would be another obvious place. In terms of the filing cabinet, I like to have a little filing cabinet section. And I've got two things there for this. Number one, in terms of, just tapping into that sense of flow, things flowing in your house, this is going to be, in my mind, in your filing cabinet, the monthly bills. So these are the bills that they come in, they go out. It's every month. They're like a clockwork. You got to pay them. Do you still get hard copies? Do you need to purge your files? This is a good time to just really, you don't have to do the whole file cabinet. Don't do the whole thing. We already did the wills, remember last week? And now it's time to clean out just the monthly bills section of the filing cabinet. How do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. And so this would be a good time to do that. It's also a good time if you've got children. I know I've got 2 kids, and I often keep like folders of like, their most precious artwork, or from when they were little, or like old report cards, important things for the kids, to really give energy to the kids, their folders, okay? To just really get their papers in order. If you've got kids in the house, do you have a folder for each of your children, with important paperwork? So while we're tuning into children and sacral chakra, pay attention to the kids. Yeah. Makes sense. In terms of appointments that you can consider, ladies, is it time for your pelvic exam? Do we need to make that appointment with the nurse practitioner, your annual exam? Is it time for a pap smear, that type thing? Gentlemen, do you need a prostate exam? Where are you at? I guess that's more root chakra. I don't want to quibble about where the prostate is, but I was really just thinking like kind of vital male or female organs. In terms of self-care, maybe it's time to get some new sheets. That would be a nice little sweet thing to do for yourself during this sacral chakra time period. You can go dance. Dancing is a great way to, move energy and get into a flow state. Make some art, make some love.
Yeah.
These are all good activities to tune into the energy of the sacral chakra and also be taking care of yourself while you're upending your bedroom and upending your bathroom, ideally, and, really putting things back together. Now, kind of on the more astral front, I guess, the esoteric front on the chart of correspondences here. So the sacral chakra is linked with Jupiter. And Jupiter is the big, benevolent planet in the solar system that rivals the sun, quite frankly. I just watched a nova the other night on the planets on PBS, and it was a whole show on Jupiter, and it just like fascinating force, of nature in our solar system. It really is a gravitational field unto itself, which is very, like, when I actually pause and to think about it, it's very sacral chakra. It's got a real force to it. The day of the week is Thursday, which is, using, I guess, the Norse Thor's day, but cross-culturally it's linked to Jupiter is the Thursday planet. So this could be a good time to take a look at where Jupiter is in your natal chart. While you're linking up in your filing cabinet with your body, with your house, thinking about the sacral chakra, look at where Jupiter is in your natal chart. What house, what sign, and just see what's going on there. There's going to be a message there for you. And then the zodiacal signs associated with Jupiter are Sagittarius and Pisces. So those would be also two other really good places to look in your natal chart while you're tuning into the sacral chakra. What house? Are there any other planets in those signs in your natal chart? Just as a way to like really tune in, tune out, tune up, tune down, tune in all, have your 360 antenna up, in your living mandala, right? Like you said, the color is orange. That holds true with Jupiter, looking at the astrological plane. And so if you really wanted to, play magician here, you could, work on your bedroom and bathroom and leaky toilets and monthly bills and all of that on a Thursday while wearing orange. I dare you. I do that stuff all the time. I think it's so much fun. There's sync up to a lot of different levels. So anyway, anything else to say about the sacral chakra in closing, or do you have other parts of the house?
And I was partially. You always give me as you're talking about that. Oh, it could be that too, And
Oh yeah, I'd love to hear.
I think just like taking a bath, taking a shower. I mean, I know we talk about the bathroom, but just that specific act, doing that, right? And I don't know, washing dishes. I'm just. And
water activities.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Anything linked with water. And, but also I love the emphasis you gave on creativity. And it sparked a whole conversation within my mind that I've been having for quite a long time about the relationship between the creativity of the second chakra and the creativity of the first chakra.
Exactly.
And so,
expression.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so, so anyway, it's just they're both creative energies, but there's slightly different ways in which so it's more like a thought process that's stimulated there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. And for me, I've noticed that same kind of nuance, like sort of what's the difference of creative energy between the second and the fifth. And we'll get to the fifth eventually. But, the fifth is like more like expression of the art. But maybe like the making, or I also link it more with like children, like the way children make art. We're not talking about a Rembrandt over here. We're talking about like finger paints.
Yeah, play, because play is a very second, very second.
Good old fashioned play.
Yeah, something that's playful and fun, being fun,
playing for playing's sake,
all that. And so I loved your emphasis on the children's playroom and things, because I think that's very, very second chakra and a lovely way to sort of access it,
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. This is really fun. We've only done 2, but we've got a few more to go here. So But that'll be in 2 weeks' time. So you're listening to the Living Mandala podcast. My name is Ara. Howdy, it's me again. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Living Mandala podcast. If you're enjoying the series so far, please don't hesitate to tell your friends, make a posting about it, something like that. You can also send me an email if you feel particularly inspired or you want a little assistance with an area of your home. Don't hesitate to send me an email. I'd be glad to have a discussion with you. Thanks again, and we continue next time with the solar plexus chakra. Thank you.